Yes, people, what's going on? Hope you're well. Hope you're safe. Today, Cam's Conversations EP3 is going down. Today it is just me and my pink pillows on the sofa. Today was a bit of a last minute episode. I messaged a couple people to jump on, but they're all quite busy with work schedules. So I thought instead of not releasing an episode, I thought I'd better just film one by myself and maybe talk on some topics. I did branch out and put a Instagram poll up and said if you have any questions or topics that you'd like me to go over, then put them in this box below. I only kept it up for an hour, and then I've got two topics from my girlfriend that she wants me to talk on. But I've also got two responses from the Instagram questions box that I put up. So I'm going to cover four topics today, shed my opinion on them and how I feel, and maybe bring some light that might be able to help some people who might be struggling with the same things. I'm not saying that I struggle with these things, but I believe these are quite general topics that are quite common with men's mental health and mental health in general. So we're going to get straight into it, and the first question that I have is, how do you go about breaking off from the male stereotype in your family history without feeling the pressure of being not enough or a failure? So obviously that's a very, very good question. And I feel like this is something that's very common in quite a lot of families, to be honest. I believe, by the way, a lot of people have highlighted to me that I say a lot, and that is because this is still very new to me, and there's no better filler than So apologies if it winds you up. I'm trying my best, but when I watch it back, I realise how much I do it. See, just like that. So apologies for that, but you're going to have to deal with it, alright? So, yeah. How do you go about breaking off from the male stereotype in your family history without feeling the pressure of being not enough or a failure? So, I think it's important to definitely not get caught up in this, especially I believe it's very common in a lot of families that obviously sons of fathers who may have done well, or even just in general families, your dad is someone that you look up to as a role model. I'm not saying this for everyone. I know there are some very bad fathers out there, but for the people who have good fathers, I believe you look up to that man as a role model, and your father is meant to be your main role model from early. It's the first man you've ever met, and I feel you naturally follow in them footsteps. And if you don't follow in their footsteps, you kind of follow their actions and how you act, and you pick up on their habits, obviously, as you're growing up. And yeah, you kind of become a second version of it in a way, personality wise. It might not be 100%, but I feel like you definitely pick up some habits that your father would have. So I mean, obviously from the get-go there, you're already kind of following in your family history and like that stereotype of, I have to be as great of a man as my dad, if your dad is a great man or not. I'm in this episode, I'm going to be talking about, well, for this question, I'm going to be talking about the good fathers that are around, and obviously this stereotype. So if you don't have a great relationship with your father, obviously you might not be able to relate, but I think it's still quite beneficial to still be able to talk and think about it. So obviously, yeah, it does come with the pressure, because from a young age you want to be this great man that your father is, and you feel like you need to be doing things for the family, and you need to be doing this, and you need to be doing so well and being this brave alpha male unit that holds things together and is nice to your mum, or I think you guys know where I'm coming from, where it's like you look up to that man and you're like, I have to be like him, otherwise I'm a failure. Because obviously they've picked up habits from their dad and their dad's picked up habits from their dad, so it's like a generational thing. So I think it's important to understand that even though that is your dad, you are still your own person. I know obviously he's one of your parents and etc., but you are still your own person, and I think it's important to remember that in order to be able to take your life where you want it to go, and to understand that there is no pressure for you to be on the same level or to be better. Obviously it's good to strive to be a great man if your dad is a great man, and to be that alpha male, like that just runs things and does this and does that and is just like this macho man. But I feel like it's overrated, because you spend your whole life thinking, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and you see things that he's doing, and sometimes you see it and you think, bloody hell, I don't know if I can do that, like, and sometimes it can get you down, like, and I think that's where the pressure comes from, and then that's where the failure as such stereotype comes from, because you just feel like not hopeless, but you're a bit like, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. He might do something one day and you might be like, oh god, like how, I can't do that, and then it's just that automatic thinking process of, oh, I'm a failure because I'm not going to be as great of a man as him. But yeah, like I said, I think it's important to understand that and recollect your thoughts to how we are all different and we're not all the same human, we're not all the same being, and there is no pressure, there's no failure. As long as you're a good man and you do things for the right reasons, you are already a great person, and there's no need to feel pressured to go above that and match them levels, etc. As long as you're a great man and you do things for the right reasons, then you're already onto a winner. You shouldn't feel like there is any pressure for you to just perform just for your male history. So I just think it's just, obviously family is always a tough topic to talk about, because they're the people that's blood. That is blood. That's not like no friends. Like, this is family ties. So it's always hard with family to not get caught up in it and not get wound up in the whole system of it. But remember, you are your own man. Do things for the right reasons. Live within your means, and don't feel like there's any pressure for you to just perform just for your family history. Do things that make you happy and act how you want to act, as long as it's making you happy, obviously. But there's no pressure. You're always enough. You are always enough. Even if people tell you, oh, you're not enough, you're just not enough for that person. But you're always enough. It's just them missing out. And anyone who ever made you feel like that doesn't deserve to be in your life anyway. If you're ever around someone and you feel like, I'm not enough, you need to get out of that environment ASAP, because more time, that is going to be the stuff that is getting you down the most. So change up your scenery, change up your environment, and you're onto better things already. Obviously sometimes it can be very hard to get caught up in that environment, especially when it's family, but sometimes you just have to do it, and you have to be raw, and you just have to bite the bullet and push through and understand that it's for better. yeah, I think point one, how do you go about breaking off the stereotype? Yeah, you're your own, in layman's terms, you're your own man and you should do what makes you happy and not to feel like you have any pressure to put towards the family history as such. So yeah, keep doing you, King. So, number 2, what have we got here? We have got top tips for learning not to compare yourself, looks, body, characteristics, masculinity, and journey to others. Oh, mate. Well, I'm going to be real with you guys, right? I can talk about this for hours on hours on hours, but anyone, yeah, just because of how common this is, and I feel like this relates to the last episode that me and Ben should have spoke about how social media is probably the absolute demon in this for things like this, because I think if you put it this way, if you didn't see all these influencers and you didn't see these people who are editing and photoshopping and are on steroids and all of these people that are living a fake life, if you didn't see that, there's no way you'd ever compare yourself. Because even when you see these people in the flesh, it makes you realise these people look nothing like what they do on social media anyway. But even so, you just wouldn't feel, because on social media, I guess you only see what you choose to see, and a lot of the time, without even realising people are doing it, people are surrounding themselves in this. People are looking through their explore page, and all they're seeing is models and bodybuilders and footballers living this crazy lifestyle that's abnormal. So I guess you're just always surrounded by it. So obviously in that environment, it's always going to be hard to get out of it, because everywhere you look, because most of the time at this generation, everyone's on their phones 24/7. So you're always surrounded by it, which makes it 10 times harder to get away from it. Just like in any environment that you're ever in, when you're stuck in it, you can't get away from that. So anyone who knows me and anyone who's ever asked me about this, or I found like one of my close ones, or I've listened to somebody, oh, but they've got this and they've got this, the first thing I'll say to anyone, oh, excuse me, the caffeine is wearing off. I think if you asked anyone, the first thing I'd say to this is, you are unique because, right, let's put it down to this, right? There is 7 billion people on this planet, right? 7 billion people, but I think the one thing that nobody has in common is that you are you. And it sounds simple, but I'm going to break this down for people. Because I think once you realise this, once you hit the nail on the head with this topic, and you realise there is only one you, there's only one me. For example, I'm going to use myself as an example here. There is only one me. There's only one Cameron Mitchell Willoughby on this planet, right? There might be someone in Japan with the same name as me. There might be someone in Australia with the same name as me. But that is the only thing that we share in common. Because what's inside of me belongs to me. And whoever's listening to this, whatever is inside of you belongs to you, right? And I just think, like, when you think about it, there's 7 billion people on this planet, and not a single soul is exactly the same as me. And I think you have to find power in that. So many people are spending so much time of their life trying to be someone else and trying to act this way because this person does it, and do it. Oh, I'm going to buy this because they do it. And that reciprocating cycle is just toxic. And there's no other word for it. It is toxic, and it is what's killing your mental health and what is killing you physically. You're ruining yourself just by trying to do that. And I don't want to have any filter on this, and I want to be able to, for people to actually take this and for it to make them realise that they need to stop doing it. You are you, and you should be so grateful for that, because if everyone was the same, life would be so boring. Imagine going out, imagine playing football, imagine you join a football team and 11 people on that team are exactly the same. That is boring. Imagine going shopping with your friend and everything you buy is the same. You wear the same outfit, you buy the same clothes, you listen to the same music, you drive the same car, everything was the same. That is boring. You'd have nothing to talk about because everyone would be the same. You are unique because there is nobody like you on this planet, and there never, ever, ever, ever will be. You might share the same similarities? Yeah. God, that got me for a second. You might share the same, similar hobbies or music taste or cars but at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, nobody is the same as you. And you have to find the power in that. You might be a little bit lost right now. You might feel lost. You might feel a bit overwhelmed, but you might feel purposeless. But what you got to remember is that you are you for a reason. You're not here to be that influencer. You're not here to be that person. You're not here for this. You're not here for that. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna break it up here. Yeah. Every time I film, I always have to hold in yawns. After I stop this filming, I won't need to yawn ever, for the rest of the day. But as soon as I put a camera on, I always need to yawn. But anyway, you are yourself, and you should take pride in that. Hold your chin up high, knowing that there is nobody like you ever. You don't need to compare yourself to anybody, because you are you, and you're unique. Literally, people are spending their whole life trying to be someone else, when if you was yourself, and I believe me and Ben touched on this in the last episode, I'm going to use myself as a prime example for this, okay? And I'm still not fully out there as myself, but for the most part, what you see is what you get. I remember I used to use my social media as a platform to not show off, but do what everyone else does. Post pictures of myself looking my best. Show people the good things that was going on in my life. But never show anything bad. Never show the failures. Never show when I felt shitty. But yeah, just show the highlight reel basically, and never what was underneath the skin. Ever since I think the first post I ever did that was true to myself was January 2019. January 2019, when I opened up about my anxiety for the first time and said I was going to start a YouTube channel to combat my inability to take criticism. So I started up a YouTube channel to basically come out and tell people, look, I've been dealing with anxiety my whole life and I've never told anyone. I think about 4 people knew on this planet that I had anxiety, and they probably found out from my family members and not me. And I just thought I didn't want to live like this anymore. I didn't want to live behind the cover and be scared to tell people that I was suffering with anxiety. And it wasn't it was just at that time. I've suffered 20 years of anxiety. But nobody knew. Growing up in school, not a single person knew. And it was I go to school and I'm this person, but when I come home, I'm this person that just doesn't leave my room. And I'm there and I'm just thinking, oh, nobody likes me, or I'm nothing and I'm purposeless and I'm going nowhere in life and all this. But people see me come into school and I'm this bubbly person that's trying to make people laugh, etc. But they don't know that I've got this flip side on the other side of my life, that I'm living just a whole different universe. So yeah, January 2019, I come out and I say, look, I'm doing this. because of my anxiety, to combat my inability to take negative comments and to have people talk shit about me, etc. I uploaded a YouTube video that night, and within 10 minutes of it, someone on a fake account called like Chelsea Luke Forever or Luke Chelsea Forever comes out and says, oh, I can't even remember the comment, oh, you're shit or something like that. And I just thought, oh, what have I got myself into? And I genuinely thought about quitting. It was a bit 2 hours ago, and my Instagram was flooded with comments, these lovely comments and these DMs, and I felt like I lifted weight off my shoulders because I was being myself. I didn't want to be anyone else in that moment. I wanted to be myself, and I wanted people to be able to benefit from me being myself. So then I get this comment, and I'm like, oh mate, I'm not ready for this. And then I just had to remind myself. I said, come on Cameron, this is the exact reason why you've done this for. Going through all of this is only going to make you stronger, is only going to make you a better person. Oh, sorry. It's only going to make you a better person. So I carried on making videos, obviously getting little comments here and there. And then, I'm not going to go into detail about this, but people that I used to hang out with who have now turned on me for absolutely no reason, decided to make a fake Instagram account, and for some reason it came up in my suggested one day, and there was a picture from one of my YouTube videos as the display picture, and this Instagram account had 7 followers, and then all 7 of these people used to be in my friendship circle. But I'm not going to enlighten that because the people don't even deserve the time of day. But already, from me being myself, I'm getting stronger as a person because I'm facing them fears of people, the negativity, and I'm coming to terms with it that it's going to happen in life. And I just faced it front on and just said, look, just take it. So then in June or July 2019, freshly qualified as a Nike Training Club pro trainer, and I started up a company called the Mental Muscle Community. And this was, once again, I've come up and I've been true to myself and opened up about my anxiety again and about how football would help me and literally saved my life when I was younger. When I played football, I had no worries and I forgot what was going on in the world behind me. And I found power in that, and I wanted other people to witness that. So I wanted to create this exercise community where people come together in a non-judgmental zone and a safe zone for people to be, where even if it's for an hour a week, people can just forget about what's going on in their life. So I started this, and then that's come to fruition. Had some great times in the year and probably 4 or 5 months that it's been running. Obviously, Corona has made this very, very difficult, and no matter how much I try at the moment, it does keep slapping me in the face. But once again, I was true to myself, and when I released the video about mental muscle on my Instagram, it's absolutely blew up. Like, I was talking like 800 likes, like 150 comments, over 100 people reshared it. I'm getting messages from strangers, it's crazy. And every time I've ever been true to myself and tried to do a project or come out and help someone, all I've got is good feedback from it. And that's because I'm not trying to pretend I'm someone else. I'm staying true to myself. I'm not comparing myself to anybody, not as much as I used to anyway. And what I'm trying to say is, when you ditch that life, because I spent my life comparing myself to everyone and anyone and just getting nothing from it. It just put me down, made me feel shit. And then I just said, look, I've got to change this. This isn't a good environment for me to be in. I can't live my life like this. So I just think, there's only one you. You don't need to compare yourself to anybody. Looks-wise, body-wise, masculinity-wise, we're all built different. We are completely built different. I know a boy that I've met a boy in the past 6 months. A man called well, his name's Kieran, but I think I've called him Kieran twice. We refer to him as Shelby, and I got introduced to him from my brother. And it just shows you how we're all built different. This boy's from Birmingham, right? And he's moved down here, and we play football together. And I've never met a man so hardcore in my life. And when I'm around him, I just think, you make me uncomfortable with how much you actually push yourself. But I don't compare myself to him because he's from a completely different background. He's grew up in Birmingham, and yeah. But I just think you are crazy, and I aspire to be like him. His mindset, his drive, and his ability to just do things that he doesn't want to do, but he knows it's going to make him better. It is crazy. But I'm not going to compare myself to him because we're two completely different people. He's 2 years older than me, and we've had completely different upbringings. And he's him, and I'm me, and he's had his own unique upbringing, and I've had mine. And he's Kieran, and I'm Cameron. There's no need for me to compare. Do you know? I hope you understand where I'm coming from. It's like there's no need for you to compare yourself to anyone, because everyone's got their own path, everyone's got their own journey. And one thing that I wanted to talk about, ages ago when I started trying to be myself more, I've always wanted to post a video on Instagram about a little analogy that I've come up with, and it's about not comparing yourself to others and living in your own means. And it's when you're driving on a motorway, if you're looking into the lanes next to you and you're not concentrating on what lane you're in and where you're heading and your final destination, 9 times out of 10 you're going to end up crashing, because if you're watching out the right window, you're not seeing what's in front of you, bang, you crash, and then you've had a bad accident. But whereas if you're sitting in your car and you're watching straight on and you're watching where you're going, you're going to get to your destination just safe. 9 times out of 10 there might be an incident that you can't fault, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to get to your destination just fine, because you was concentrating on the road and you was concentrating on your journey. This applies in life as well, because if you're watching someone else's life whilst they build their career and build their life, you're stagnant and you're going to end up coming crashing down because you're not living within your means and you're not living within your purpose. Whereas if you focus on your journey and no one else's, because no one else's journey is going to help yours, you focus on your journey and you take your steps and you do the right turnings and you focus on your final destination, and like a roadmap, like maps. If maps tells you to turn right in a mile, you're going to turn right in a mile because you're following your destination, not the person next to you, because they're not going to the same place as you. So I think it's important to keep your head straight. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing, because realistically the only person you have at the end of the day is you. You and your close ones is the only people that you have. And worrying about what someone else is doing, or how they look, or what they do for a living, or how tough they are, or maybe how weak they are, isn't going to get you anywhere. So you stay true to yourself and push yourself for the right reasons and not for anyone else's benefit. Honestly, I could talk about that forever and ever. And I don't doubt as many more episodes. Wait, no, how do I phrase this? The more episodes that come out of Cam's Conversations, the more I'll be able to dive into stuff like this. But I'm trying to keep this episode under an hour long. So I could honestly talk about that for hours and hours. And you probably can tell by the tone of my voice and the way I talk about that stuff, how much it means to me, especially. And how passionate I am about people being comfortable in their own skin, because everyone's beautiful. If you're listening to this now, you're beautiful. And I'll tell you that, and I mean it. But you're beautiful for your own reasons. You're not beautiful because you follow someone else's life. You're beautiful because you're you, not because you're trying to be someone else. The you version of yourself is the most beautiful, not the one where you're trying to copy someone else. So I'm gonna leave it on that point there. Last 2 points. So these 2 points are from 2 good friends of mine that left them in the Instagram questions box below. Not below, because you're not seeing it right now. See what I mean? My head goes when I start filming. So my good friend Ali, he said, how do you deal with the pressures of not feeling like when you turn 18 you have to be the man of the house and all of the pressures that come with it? And I think for young people this is a very big thing, because you turn 18 and you think, oh, by the time I'm 21 I need to be a multi-millionaire, which isn't the case at all. And I think it's a very common thing, and it can get very, very toxic very quickly. I think what you need to understand is that something that Gary Vee says a lot to literally like 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds. He said you could do nothing for the next 10 years and still be successful by the time you pass away. And I think that is so true. Too many 18-year-olds, and this, once again, I think social media is a trigger for this, because you see all these abnormal people living abnormal lives which aren't true to them, but because they've got Instagram followers, they have to continue to pursue this fake life. There's no pressure. You're 18 years young. Years young. That is so young. You've literally just left school. People don't have their life figured out when they're 50, 60, 70. Some people never get their life figured out. You're not meant to have your life figured out by the time you're 18. And there's no pressure for you to be man of the house. Same point as like the male history question. You are your own person, and when you turn 18, there's no pressure for you to start paying, like doing just crazy stuff that no other 18-year-old is doing. And I feel if you put that pressure on yourself, it can become very, very toxic. There's no pressure for you to do well at 18. There's no pressure for you to do well in life at all. You live within your own means, and if you want to do well, good for you. Push yourself to that absolute maximum, because obviously this life that we're living isn't long, and we know we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Word to Drake. I think, is it Drake? Yeah, it is. I'm here for a good time. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a very common thing, because people turn 18 and they're like, I need to have my life together now. I need to go and get a job that's going to pay me 150 grand a year, that I can put dinner on the table. Bro, who are you putting dinner on the table for? You're 18. I'm not, obviously, this is excluding people who have tough times at home. You do what you have to do. And if that means you have to do that, do it. Because, trust me, you guys are the top tier. And you guys who have to hustle and hustle and hustle, I salute you. Honestly, you guys have got a lot on your plate, and if there's any way I could ever help any of you, please reach out to me. But there's no pressure for you to, unless you've got circumstances at home, like I just said, and I salute you, and you've got to put food on the table. But for the most part, no 18-year-old has to do that. And even if you do, please don't feel like you have to be successful by the time you're 18 or 19 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50. Just go with the flow. Do what you need to do to have the best quality of life that you possibly can in that moment. And you don't have to be the man of the house. That's a stereotype. It's a stereotype. And a lot of women get peed off by it. It just downgrades women. It's basically saying that women don't have to work and women don't have to do this. Bro, don't feel like you just have to be that man. You don't feel like you have to be the guy. Bro, do what makes you happy and do all you can to provide for not just your family, your friends, the people you love, for your community. Give to people outside of your family. Do things for real reasons. Real people do real things. But Ali, I hope that helps. And if you ever need any extra help on that, then please reach out to me, bro. I've got time for you, man. So, moving on to our last point here. This was from, actually, I think, going back as long as I can remember, a lifelong friend of mine, primary school and secondary school, and I think maybe nursery, but I'm not sure. A friend of mine called, who goes by the name of Miles Stedford. And he said, he wants me to talk about how people don't take people's mental health experiences or what they're going through seriously because it's not them. And I think this is a massive one, because a lot of people, unless people have been through it, people won't understand. Like, someone might be listening to this and just might not, and you just might not understand. You might not understand anything, because you might not, at this stage of life, you might not have had to go through anything like this, or anything like what we talk about on any of the episodes. But I think this is definitely a big one, because I feel like we're growing up in a very selfish era where unless people have a benefit for themselves, they're not going to do anything. People won't, me and Ben spoke about this, people won't repost your stuff unless they can gain something back from it, etc. There's very few people that do, but the people that do, you got to treasure them people. Yeah, I just think this is just, it's a selfish act, and to just brush someone under the carpet because you don't understand what they're going through, I think is just selfish, because even if you don't have anything to say to that person, and you, I won't lie, you might not be able to help that person in any way possible, but just to listen, it can be such a beneficial tool. Even yesterday, I had one of my good friends was talking to me about something that he's going through, and I didn't even say anything. I just had to listen, and he felt better. I just sat there, said, "Look, mate, let's talk about it," and I just sat there. I let him rant. I let him get all of it out, and then I spoke. But I didn't give him any information. We just spoke normally. Sometimes all you have to do is listen, and I think if you're gonna brush someone under the carpet just because you've never experienced it, I think that's not cool, man. Listen to people, even if you've had no struggle in your life whatsoever, which I hardly doubt. If you were struggling, you'd want someone to listen to you. So listen to other people. Be kind to other people, because you don't know what people are going through. And it's cliche, but all the things you hear that are cliche are true, and you brush them off because they're cliche, but it's true. You don't know what someone's going through behind closed doors. Like what I said earlier, I grew up going through school, football teams, all of this stuff, and I didn't tell a single soul what I was going through behind closed doors. And people would have never thought that. Like, it was an actual shock to people when I come up and spoke about it. And it's a shock to people now. You don't see enough men doing it. You don't see enough men talking about it, but it takes a real man to talk about it. And I won't ever say that I'm comfortable doing it. Filming this right now, I wouldn't say that I'm comfortable doing it. There's been things that I've said in this, and I just think I don't ever want people to hear me say that, and people to understand that I'm weak in this area and that. But I think the only people that are going to take advantage of that are people that are never ever going to benefit my life. So why do I need to listen? But I just think, yeah, it's just a selfish era where people, if you can't relate to someone, you won't listen to them. But a lot of the time, even just you listening can go a long way. Yeah, and I think mental health is something you always have to take seriously, because mental health is in everyone. Everyone has a brain, so everyone's got mental health. Some just deal with it better than others. And I think that's very important to understand, like, okay, I might not go through that stuff, but I respect you because you go through it. So if you ever need help, I'm going to help you. You might not ever understand, and a lot of people won't. But everyone has mental health. Good, bad, ugly, awful, everyone has mental health. And it's something that I'm so happy that is being spoken upon a lot more nowadays. And I just think it just needs to be on the rise and in the rise, and it just needs all the given attention that it needs. And I'm more than happy to do stuff like this and run Mental Muscle. But one thing, I think a lot of people see, well, pre-lockdown, a lot of people saw that I was getting like me and the boys who aren't no longer sadly a part of it because we just had to go separate ways. We were getting big turnouts to Mental Muscle, and I think sometimes that puts people off people supporting it, because they're like, oh, they're doing well, and people probably think that I've made a ton of money off of Mental Muscle. Mate, I charge free community sessions for people. I've made less than £500. Hold up. I've made probably less than £700, £800 off of Mental Muscle. But people probably think that I'm raking in money from this and that because because I had 30 people turn up to a session once or something like that. But no, I do this stuff not for monetary gain. I do this stuff because I want to help people. I've had my own life growing up with mental health, and I'm still trying to get to the bottom of some things now, and I'm still trying to figure stuff out, and I'm still trying to test this and test that. But there's people out there, and a lot of people that are scared to act like it, that care about you and care about the general well-being of people. And if I can make one person's life better, then I'm happy with that. I can sleep peacefully at night knowing that one person might have watched this tonight and they might go make a post on Instagram tomorrow about their new fitness venture because they want to improve their mental health, or they might come to a Mental Muscle session this Wednesday because they were inspired by this or something, like literally anything. But as long as I can make one person's life better, then I'm happy for life, because I don't want to spend my life chasing financial wealth, because you can make millions and millions of pounds, but you've never helped a single soul in your life. And I think helping people and being a kind person and a real person is priceless. It's worth more than any paycheck you could ever give me. So yeah. That's me. That's the 4 points that I spoke about today. Sometimes I must admit there's something I would say today, and I'll watch it back and I'll be like, hold up, that makes no sense, or something like that, and I'll just think, oh, I phrased that wrong. So if you took offence to anything today, I did not mean it in any sort of way. It's just sometimes when I get passionate about things, I just end up just talking, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, or sometimes it comes across as a way that it shouldn't. So I hope for the most part this has been helpful for you, and you feel less stressed and less weight on your shoulders to be that guy at the top, or to from now on you might not look at that same Instagram profile that you watch every day because you like what they're doing, or you're just being nosy, or you find that value within yourself and you live within your means. And I think the one thing, if I could tell you to take one thing from this out of anything, be yourself and be ruthless and pursue what you want to pursue. Don't listen to what anyone else is going to say about it. As long as it's making you happy, then that's all that matters. I'm filming another episode with a boy called Liam's Woods Williams on Friday, and I know a little bit about this guy's story, so it's going to be very inspiring, and that'll be coming out next Monday. If you're watching this and you'd like to join on an episode of Cam's Conversations, please do. Everyone is welcome. absolutely everyone. And whether you want to come on and talk about your experiences, or you want to talk about some stereotypes or anything, you just want to have a chat because you feel a little bit stressed, come on. If I know you quite well, you can join on the hot seat, but obviously if I don't know you, then that's a bit awkward to just let you into the home. But we'll jump on a Google Meets or a Zoom call or anything, and we'll get the episode out there. And yeah, we're just going to keep bringing episodes and trying to help people's mental health, and more importantly, bring down these stigmas around men's mental health. One episode at a time. So from me, I hope you're well still. I hope you're safe. And if you listen to the whole thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. If you could share this everywhere you can, run up the views, run up the streams on Spotify, Google, podcasts, Anchor, everything. It really does help. And just by you sharing, you could be saving someone's life. And giving them a little bit of hope. So that's me. Thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave some feedback, topics that you want me to talk about, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for listening. Peace.